Right now, I am a beginner martial arts student. What are martial arts and what makes it so great in the first place? When trying to answer these questions, martial arts should be separated into two words. These words are martial and arts. Martial is a word that symbolizes war and becoming a warrior. The word arts is expressions or applications of human creative skills and imaginations. With this being said, the combined definitions of both words of martial arts is the skills of wars and fighting. Many people may ask why we want to learn about wars and fighting. They may also ask why we want to be a violent individual. This is a misconception about martial art. The real reasons why we want to learn martial art is to control violence, not to create it. This is the main reason why we choose to learn martial art in the first place. With this being said, how is this logic believable? To control violence, you have to know how to be violent yourself. The reason for this is that martial artists are trained to be strong. What does this mean to be strong? Normally when people are talking about strength, they are talking about someone who has the power to move heavy weights. This definition of strength matters a lot, however, it is not the full story. Another definition that will fit a full story of strength. This definition states that being strong means that people can withstand great force. This definition definitely tell a full story of strength because it is more than just lifting heavy weights. It is more than just a physical attribute. You have to be physically, mentally, and spiritually strong. I have talked about the physical aspect of strength, however, what about being mentally and spiritually strong? What is the difference between having mental strength versus spiritual strength? Mental is our thoughts and emotions. When people are strong mentally, they can control and manage their thoughts and emotions. How can we be mentally strong? We gain this achievement through tough experiences. What are these tough experiences that I am talking about? These tough experiences are mistakes and unfortunate events. Depending on how we react and cope with them, mistakes and unfortunate events can cause trauma and even permanent damage. With this being said, how do we actually react and cope? This is where we have the spiritual strength. The truth behind spiritual studies is that the studies that focus on philosophy. Philosophy is the study of fundamental ideas about knowledge, the truth, right and wrong in religions, and the natures and meanings of life. To summarize, philosophy is about the studies of cleaning our minds and finding wisdom in our life. This is what we will use to react and cope with mistakes and unfortunate events. We will have to clear our minds and gain knowledge to wisdoms. We will have to obtain mindfulness, cognitive skills, usually developed through meditations. Nonetheless, one of the most powerful meditation exercises is martial art. How is martial art one of the most powerful meditation exercises? Let's start with the most obvious explanations of this. Learning martial art will make people more powerful. They will be stronger mentally and physically and spiritually. Nonetheless, how is training martial art a meditation exercise? When we meditate, we will clear and calm our mind. We will need to focus on the present moment and pay attention to what is ahead of us. We will achieve this attitude through martial art. Nonetheless, how do we achieve this attitude? An art form is a skill set. This means that martial art is a fighter skill set. Therefore, you have to be technical while fighting. Having knowledge of some of the best proven techniques for both striking and grappling. When fighters first learn all these techniques, they drill many times for muscle memories. Many of these techniques will never require full powers and force, as they will be dangerous to the training partner and themselves. Like in meditations, the fighters need to be relaxed and focused. When they are aggressive and rushing, it is very dangerous for both parties. The only reason for fighters to be aggressive and rush their opponents is through offensive opportunities. In the tactics of battle, there are defense and offense. Fighter must stay calm to figure out quickly the best technique and strategies for either offensive, defenses, or both at the same time. We have talked about the applications of meditations in martial art. Now I will talk about the cultures and histories of how martial art is related to meditation. Let's start with the histories of meditations. Meditation is a mindfulness practice that dates back around 5000 BCE through the philosophy of Buddhism in India. This nation actually was created as the oldest known martial art in the world. However, this martial art does not have anything to do with the modern system of martial art. What do I mean by this? When we are talking about the modern systems of martial art, many people may assume that the systems is categorized with the styles like wrestling, boxing, and MMA. I consider modern systems of martial art to be still relevant and credible in the present day. Of course, there are wrestling, boxing, and MMA. However, styles like Kung Fu, Karate, and many others are still considered part of modern system of martial art to me. The reason why I believe this is because it is not the styles, but rather the fighter. Continuing with the histories of martial art, an Indian monk traveled to China to introduce exercise to help the original Chinese Shaolin monk with their fitness, since they spent all their time sitting down and meditating. This monk name is Bodhidharma. This is the origins of Kung Fu, one of the oldest martial arts styles. Karate was founded by Kung Fu in the 17th centuries. Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, the founders of Judos, were created in the 16th centuries. They are traditional martial arts of the past. Nonetheless, they are considered a modern systems of self-defense and fighting. Now, what do I consider not to be the modern system of martial arts style? It is the old styles of military training. The fighter trained with the weapons like swords, spears, and archeries. We cannot mention martial art without mentioning military power. Thus, this is what martial arts are truly from. The words martial have always been correlated to war. The word art, as mentioned before, is correlated to the term of skills. When combining these two definitions, martial art is the tactical and technical skills of warfare. Before martial art become modernized, there are warriors like samurais, knights, and even Spartans in the past. These were the ancient systems, martial artists. The reason why I use these terms ancient is because of the way of life we have today. Today's citizens could not walk around carrying a sword anymore compared to the knights and samurais of the past. This is due to the law and regulations. Now, we can still buy and own a sword. However, it's mostly for hobbyists and to train and display in their own house. There is a law for many countries around the world that limits the length and the size of the blade used for carry-on and self-defense. This is why no one can walk around with the sword sticking out anymore. If they want to carry a sword, they must put the blade inside a box. We have talked about a sword, but what about bow and arrow? In the past, there are archer and ranger divisions of the ancient military. I want to say that all ancient nations have these warriors. However, I am not a historian, so I will not assume. I am assuming that the ranger class is one of the best crucial role in all warfare. Why are they so crucial? This is where modern military tactics and fighting style come from. This is where the inventions of guns begin. The military from ancient time to now will be innovative and always building the best equipment. The inventions of guns like rifle is the best replacement for both bow and arrow. Therefore, every service personnel is a rifleman at first. The lifestyle have been changed for warriors of modern time. However, history will still need to be learned and remembered. And with history, we cannot leave our culture and traditions. This is where the hobbyists and enthusiasts shine. These are martial artists who will keep culture and traditions from ancient time thriving. This is why we still have fencing, kenjutsu, and hima as a weaponized martial art in modern time. Now, without the weapons, what will the fighter use to fight and defend themselves? This is why modern martial art exists. This will bring me to the next belief that every warrior should be a scholar. A scholar is a learner who gains great knowledge. Before anything else, grappling is martial art tactic that have existed in ancient time for the military. I have learned that grappling was employed by warriors of the past because they simply could not straight up punch their opponents. The warriors of the past will wear hard, bulky armor to defend themselves from swords and arrows. If these warriors are meant to take on these power weapons, what make a punch or kick any better? These are three ranges in a fight: long, mid, and close range. Long range is the range of projectile weapons like bows and arrows or rifle. The mid-range is the range that can be reached with weapons like swords and spears. In modern time, these weapons have to be replaced with knife and other small, high-impact weapons. The close range is hand-to-hand combat. Based on history, there are many times the warriors of the past clinch each other. This is where grappling takes place, the art of takedowns and holds to finish the job. With this being said, almost every ancient military used grappling as a form of combat in warfare. During martial art training, there are two kinds of obstacles. These two obstacles are from ourselves and our opponents. The first obstacle is ourselves. We need to train our minds to be warriors. We want to be martial artists. We need to show growth, resiliency, and determinations. A warrior is a fighter. A soldier are both. There is a reason why I mentioned this. The reason is that not everyone can be a soldier. To be a soldier, we must sign the dotted lines to serve our nations. This is very honorable decisions. However, not everyone is suited for this role. Even within the rank, different military occupational specialties will work together to defend this nation. Not every military service personnel is on the front line. Even if everyone is in the front line, the battles will not last long, as supplies will run out, no medical teams, and no maintenance for the equipments. With this being said, why did I mention this? For an organization's systems or styles to work, there must be a balance of tasking, methods, and responsibilities. This is why, as a martial artist, we cannot rely on a single style. Most styles of martial arts today are very limited. The reason for this is that they fall into two categories. These are grappling and striking. It's always better to have both, especially in self-defense. People solve this problem with the inventions of MMA or mixed martial art. To me, this is not a style of martial art, but rather a system. This is because not all MMA fighters have the same combinations of different styles. These combinations are a mix of both grapplings and striking.